was watching my Roku and an ad came up. It was a Fox Nation ad. And they said that a legendary comedian was finally returning. And they showed them from behind. It was very hard to tell who it was. It was just sort of like a brown spot with some spikes. And then I heard the voice, and I knew instantly that annoying voice. I knew who it was, and here it is. Roseanne Barr's Cancel This show is coming to Fox Nation on February 13th. Cancel This, she named it, because I guess Triggered was finally taken enough that they didn't call it Triggered again. It's gonna debut on February 13th. It's gonna be Barr's first comedy special since Blonde and Bitchin' aired on HBO back in 2006. It was taped in front of a live audience at Houston's Cullen Theater. And the streaming service is gonna release a special called Who is Roseanne Barr in conjunction with the project. Definitely a confidence move when you have to have a documentary that explains who the person is. Anyway, here's the issue with that. There's multiple issues. So the first one is she is like, well, I'm not gonna say every right winger, because almost every comedian also does this. Any criticism whatsoever, any business decision by a company that doesn't want to have its entire reputation be tanked by your horrendous comments, declaring herself to be canceled, despite the fact that she has yet another special that's coming out. She's doing a special, but she is still the victim, still canceled. But you're not canceled, you have a special. Like, lots of people don't have specials, you have a special. How are you the canceled one? She said, and I will remind you of the things in a bit, the absolutely horrendous things that she was saying that finally forced a business to end the reboot of Roseanne or whatever, that I'm sure would have made them a bunch of money. So I just love every time, Brett, it's the constant, anybody who disagrees with them, anyone who makes a rational decision to not support their comedy anymore, isn't making their own decision like a human would, they're canceling them. What do you think?
The sense of entitlement that celebrities have, rich celebrities have, is not surprising, but it still surprises me. The fact that they have it, that sense of entitlement, like she's entitled to an audience. The whole reason you as a comedian get an audience is because the things you're saying make people laugh, make people feel good, sometimes make people think, but really just makes them laugh. And you try to get more of those people together by saying things that make people feel good, and your audience grows. She said things that didn't make people feel good, and her audience shrunk. And she's like, how dare they?
Yeah.
How dare people not love every second of it? Because she forgot the club she worked in to make her way to the absolute pinnacle of comedianship in the late 80s and early 90s, having her own sitcom that was #1 for 1,000 years, which she did. Yeah. She just forgot where she came from. The other thing is this decision. So if you're a comedian, you very often say things in the room to lose the room. You're trying new material, they turn against you because you said it wrong. You're just dying out there, right? Most comedians try to get the room back. She's not, she's getting a new room.
Yeah.
Louis C.K. is trying to get the room back. Louis C.K. is doing specials where he's like, I screwed up, I'm a bad person. I watched his most recent special, So Sue Me, and he was really great just doing material to get the room back. That's an earnest attempt to get yourself back into good graces, not by complaining about how there are consequences to saying horrible stuff. And instead, he is like trying to do good material.
Yeah.
So people will be like, he's trying.
Yeah,
that's the difference between him and Roseanne Barr, and these weird moves by a lot of comedians who are like, well, I'll just Jim Brewer my way into the most toxic room. And so, and what's sad is like comedians know what kind of laugh they're getting, what kind of reaction they're getting. I've said on the show, you don't want the clapping where people are like, I agree with you. This is not voluntary. This is me. This is not involuntary. It's a voluntary action of clapping because you didn't make me laugh, but I want you to know I'm with you. You want the laughs that are just this involuntary, like that was hilarious. These folks are flocking to the claps, but they're not good claps. They're as bad as the clap. They're flocking to people who are like, yeah, you didn't make me feel good. You made me feel angry in the way I need to feel angry right now. So I'm with you, Roseanne.
Which is a thing. It's not, it doesn't feel like a comedy thing. It feels like a, I don't know.
It's like I mean, it's a way
thing.
I have friends, I have friends like that laugh because it's the worst thing you've ever said. But there's a place for, but like that, the worst thing you've ever said is like when you're at like I've been at funerals where people are laughing because they need the release from the tragedy. There's a different like worst thing you ever said that people think is funny. It's like taboos and you break them and that's one way to get released. But like leaning into them just to be terrible because you're alone in a room together, that is a horrible thing that I don't think is funny. And I never really understand people who flock to that kind of humor.
Well, it feels different than comedy. I mean, you could just, your set could be 40 minutes of you reading Cards Against Humanity cards. I mean, I don't think that's the same thing as like a comedy set. In any event, it is a weird way to go through life as a person whose focus for decades has been comedy, thinking that if you say things that people like, you should become famous and rich and whatever. But if you say that things that people don't like, you should still be rich and famous. I kind of feel like you have to take both of those simultaneously. Like, if people are gonna flock to you and be fans, then they might also do the opposite of that. That's what has actually happened here.
And a lot of good comedians say things that people think they don't like, but reveal that they're kind of being crappy anyway. You know,
I get what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, in any event, we're not gonna go through all the stuff that she said. I do think that it is interesting that after her like Valerie Jarrett, Planet of the Apes comments and stuff, right, like clearly racist stuff, she said incredibly misogynistic stuff. She just states that Chelsea Clinton married into the Soros family. It's not true, she didn't. So obviously playing into those stereotypes. And so she is, by the way, she's Jewish. But she's also said things that a lot of people interpret to be wildly anti-Semitic. She also, by the way, during Kanye West's downfall, said that she appreciated his anti-Semitic tweets. So again, like she can say that. She can have whatever opinion she wants. But it is just weird to have Fox saying what Ilhan Omar tweeted 3 years ago is so terrible that she should be barred from service on congressional committees. And that's not canceling. That's just necessary. But if you don't like what Roseanne said and you don't want to listen to her anymore, you've canceled her. When she likes Kanye West's anti-Semitism, it's such a weird. I really wish that they could be forced in some way to have a consistent position on what exactly canceling is, because it seems like they're perfectly fine with it in some cases.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.